Good morning. I'm sitting in a normal spot. Doc's shaking his head in the other room. All the babies have been real lazy this morning. Let me turn it around, but y'all see that. Laying all around the outskirts of the light. And then we have these over here who done burrowed them a little hole. Good morning. Maybe I need to go up with that light a little bit. The two little ducklings are over there together with 5 of the chicks. I need to go get them some more branches to get on. There's too many of them for the amount of branches I have in there. Hey, Affleck. My son named him Affleck. He's like, it's gonna be a white duck, Mom. Can I name him Affleck? I'm like, yeah. Come get y'all some water. I filled this water up last night before I went to bed. And that small water, I did not fill up yesterday at all. They drank the bottom out of this one and didn't finish drinking that one. And of course the babysitter got to get in. They're making noise. What's the matter with them, Mama? What's the matter with them? What's the matter with them, Doc? Oh. Doc, you're limiting my range of motion. I can't reach. Oh, hit my head. Okay. Ooh, it's a little hard to hold a chip and so. Ooh. Let me turn on some light in here. I'm trying to get y'all to see the wings, how pretty the pattern is coming in on it. I have no idea what kind of chick this is. Doc, quit licking the chick. Enough. Pretty wings. Hey. Act like just waddling around. I hate that they're all hiding in the corner now. Okay, so they are 8 days old now. No, 9 days old. They are 9 days old now. Now look at the duck just towering over the chicks. All the chicks kind of look at the ducks like their mama. It's cute to watch. Where the ducks go, the chicks will follow. That's probably a couple of boys there squaring off with each other. You can't eat the light, Aflac. You cannot eat the light. So I need to get that piece of whatever that is out of her beak before they get sauerkraut. Give me a second, let me take care of that. Okay, I'm not sure if you saw that, but in my duck, they had a little bit of shavings hanging half in the mouth, half out of the mouth. If you grown chickens, baby chicks, if you see anything hanging out of their mouth, it's best to remove it. If not, it can cause sauerkraut, which is all the food builds up around it because it's not going down or out. They're not like old farmers that can just run around with straw hanging out of their mouth or grass hanging out of their mouth all day and then not cause any problems. Usually that's caught halfway down their throat and it'll cause a backup of food and water and can cause health issues. So if you see anything hanging out of your chick's mouth, a piece of grass, a piece of straw, it's best to remove that so that there's no problems. Because we don't want sauerkraut. That can be life-threatening. If I could have caught the duck while I was filming, I would have showed you, me holding it in my hand, or her. But it was kind of a traumatic experience, me pulling something out of its beak, so, or out of its throat. So I quickly put it back down. That is my 5-toed multi-Houdan. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but if you look at its feet, there's 5 toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna see if I can insert a clip to show you what it's gonna look like whenever it gets older. Very ornamental bird. I'm not really one for ornamental birds, but hey, I got it in a surprise box. I'll keep it. So, okay. You and your fuzzy legs, your little cochin. I think it's a cochin, or a buff Brahma, or a buff cochin. It's one of those. I'm not sure which one. Both are pretty large chickens, so. Okay, my filming got interrupted by my husband calling. He had a little bit of drama at work. Irate customer at one of the places he went to pick up a part was hollering and screaming and cursing out the young ladies behind the counter. And when my husband walked in, he's like, hey, well, I mean, my husband is 65 years old. He was raised by a single mother. You do not disrespect women around him. And he's like, excuse me, you don't talk to ladies like that. Like, you know, whatever the problem is, I'm sure we can work it out, but you don't need to be talking to these ladies like that, cursing, hollering, screaming on your tiptoes. I guess this guy had a little man's complex or something, I don't know. My husband's 6'6", so he turns around to my husband. This guy's like in his late 20s, early 30s. My husband's 65 years old, just telling him to respect women. And he gets all up in my husband's face, or tries to. You know, he's 2 foot too short, screaming at him, oh, you think you're all big and bad, blah, blah, blah. He's like, dude, I'm 65 years old. You're just not going to talk to women like this. But I'm telling you right now, if you talk to me like that one more time, we're going outside. Well, the parts manager came out, heard the commotion going on, came out and called the police, and the police came and escorted him off the property. And everyone's looking at my husband going, you kept your cool. Like, we were waiting for you to just knock the guy out. My husband's like, I'm not that kind of person. In my younger days, yes, I got in a lot of fights, but I have anger issues. So I've been working for the last 40 years to control those anger issues. So it wasn't going to be nothing like that, but I wasn't going to stand here and let him disrespect y'all. And I wasn't going to stand here and let him, like, if it would have escalated and he would have tried to put his hands on y'all, I would not have stood for that. But other than that, my husband was just like, you know, the hollering and screaming at the ladies behind the parts counter. That's doing you no good if you are acting like that to somebody. I mean, if they don't have the part you're looking for, go to another place. Give them a chance to order the part. I mean, I don't know. It's only 8:47 in the morning. My husband has only been at work for like almost 2 hours now, and he's already dealing with drama. And he got this job. Well, first he retired, and he worked in the plants as a supervisor for brand scaffolding. And he was above all the painters, insulators, and scaffold builders. At 2 different locations, he got transferred. Same plant, just other side of the river. One's called Uncle Sam, one's called Faustina. But on the maintenance crew. And he retired because he got tired of dealing with people. When people mess up, he was the one, you know, the supervisor's always the one to get the blame. If anything goes wrong, and whenever you're running 10 crews, something's bound to go wrong every day. So things happen. And just the stress of managing all the people and everything else, he just, when he was 63, I was like, you know what? Retire, draw your Social Security, stay home, I'll take care of you. And that happened for about a year. He stayed home for about a year. And the job I had at the time, I was extremely stressed out. And he ended up, and he got tired of staying home. Being a housewife is hard. Cooking, cleaning, you know, taking care of my kids. I mean, it's a hard job. Anybody out there knows being a mom is a hard job. Being a housewife is a hard job. And after a year, he's like, I don't know what's worse, being a housewife or running a crew, you know, of 100 people. And so he went back to work, and he saw me so stressed out, and just kept telling me, baby, just quit your job. just quit your job. You were there for me whenever I got too stressed out. I'll be there for you whenever you get too stressed out. Well, a year and a half later, I finally had enough of that job. And I quit. And then I changed careers. Got into that a little bit. Was working in a very toxic environment, so I called my husband one night in the middle of the night. I was on a 12-hour night shift, and I called him probably around midnight, 1 a.m. on a work night. I felt really bad because he had to wake up in the middle of the night, come get me from work, and then turn right around and go to work in the morning. And quit that job. They begged me not to quit. They kept telling me, you're so good at your job. You're so good at your job. You are exactly what we need here. I'm like, how do you give someone who's been a CNA for 6 months 13 patients in one night, and the person who has 25 years experience, you give them 3? Like, how is that fair? And then gave me 2 of my patients. I mean, I had one trying to rip an IV, not a regular IV, rip a dialysis port out of his body. The other one, another one of my patients, kept getting out of bed. So I'm trying to do vitals, and I told my supervisor I'm not going to get these midnight vitals done in time. Like, I get started, you know, an hour and a half early. And I just kept getting called to these 2 rooms back and forth. One, the bed alarm kept going off. She was a fall risk. The other one, when I go in there to take his vitals, he's trying to rip his dialysis port out. And I call his nurse, who just so happens to be the charge nurse. And I'm looking at her going, there's no way I'm going to get these vitals done. I mean, there's 9 nurses on staff. If you get each nurse to do 1 patient's vitals, then we have all the vitals done on time. And everything's fine. They kept saying, you know, and then whenever at 10 minutes till midnight, I just brought my phone, all of my notes that I had taken the other vitals, and I just handed them with my badge to the charge nurse. And I was like, look, I done told you 5 times I was not going to get these vitals and done. I followed the laughter of the other CNA who was on the floor that night, which we were short 1 CNA, but we didn't have very many patients. Like, our halls weren't full that night. The previous night, we had 3 CNAs. All 3 halls were completely full. But that night, we had a bunch of empty rooms. So, I mean, we really didn't need 3 CNAs for only 16 patients. I mean, if we would have split them 8 and 8, it would have been just fine. But anyway, that's another story. That's another story. I told my charge nurse 3 times I was not going to get done in time. And I followed the laughter of everybody sitting around laughing and gossiping while my midnight vitals. Oh no, it was 1 o'clock, because midnight vitals have to be entered into the computer by 1 o'clock, and I wasn't even through taking them because they were laughing. I don't know what they were laughing about. In my mind, they were laughing about me running around like a chicken with no head, entering the call light back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Bed alarms going off, ripping out IVs, and somebody else who wanted sandwiches, like a sandwich. And all this is going on while I'm trying to do my midnight vitals, and I don't know. So I left because the last time I got really stressed out trying to do that, the charge nurse, same charge nurse, told me, well, communicate with us. Tell us. We could have all just went and took 1 vital and just took, you know, that load off of you while you were dealing with everything else. Well, that time I did communicate with her 3 times. And 3 times, nothing happened. I literally followed the sound of them laughing because they weren't in, like, they were all just like kind of hiding in the physician's computer room on the floor. And I just literally followed the sound of laughter to get to where I needed to find them to hand in everything. And I basically haven't been to work since. I mean, I do my Instacart on days that I'm not hurting, which today I'm not hurting. Oh, I feel so good, y'all. But I didn't keep the truck this morning, so I could Instacart. I might try to get a few orders in tonight, or being that I'm not hurting, I might just like spend some time with my husband. So, and then maybe try to get some work in tomorrow, because like hopefully I'll still be pain-free. Okay, well, I'm done rambling. This is already longer than I wanted it to be. 8-day-old chicks. No, 9-day-old chicks. I'm sorry, they are 9 days old. I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna sit back, take it easy, drink me another cup of coffee, and then I'm going to start. I bake my own homemade bread, and I haven't baked any in a while, but in my freezer, I found some day-old bread. I just take it and just like throw it in the freezer, and I use it as breadcrumbs. So I pulled that out so it can defrost, and I'm gonna use that for breadcrumbs in my meatloaf tonight that I have to cook. The ground beef has been defrosted for, I took it out day before yesterday when I was supposed to have the meatloaf. And I might take y'all along for that in a little while. Prepping the bread and showing how 1 pound of ground beef can feed a family of 3 with leftovers. Unless my boys are extra hungry, then they'll eat it all tonight. All right. Bye. Love y'all.